Hello and welcome to day 4 of the Galaxy expansion launch week. If you missed the previous days, they're all available here on YouTube. We're gonna leave the link right below in the description. And today we are talking about AdonisJS, a TypeScript first framework that helps you build full web applications and API servers. You know those frameworks where you have to spend hours downloading packages and figuring out a lot of stuff and details before actually start building something? Adonis is nothing like that. It comes with everything that you need right out of the box. ORM, authentication, file uploads, email, and validations. All integrated, working from day 0. And here at Galaxy, we are working to offer first-class support for this framework. We want it to be the best place to deploy your AdonisJS apps. We already support it, and we have plans to make the experience even better. And today, we are here with the creator of this framework to talk about the future of it and also to solidify our partnership. What's up, Virk? Welcome, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. Excited to hear the news about Adonis and everything else that is going on there. I know that you have been working a lot on this with the AdonisJS community. But before we dive into the news and everything else that is going on in the ecosystem, I would like to ask you to explain for people that have never heard about AdonisJS what it is and what is its purpose.
Yeah, so I think like in a nutshell, AdonisJS is like a batteries included, opinionated TypeScript framework, and you can essentially use it to build full stack applications. So, like if you have been searching for a framework like Rails or Laravel within the JavaScript or TypeScript ecosystem, you can try AdonisJS and see if it like something that you want to continue to use. If I not like really dig too much into the features, but talk more about the philosophy of the framework, it has always been to give you like a tool set that you can use to essentially build end-to-end application without really relying too much on third-party services. For example, within the JavaScript ecosystem, anytime you want to build some kind of an application, you start with like a meta framework, and then you start using different services as you need more features. But if you look at the other communities, whether it's Rails or Laravel, they have like options within the framework ecosystem so that they don't have to like piggyback on third-party services for every simple thing like auth or rate limiting or feature flags. And that's the gap like we are trying to fill with AdonisJS as well. So yeah, that's like pretty much all about Adonis.
And did you create AdonisJS because something was missing? What were your motives in the beginning of this project?
Yep, so I think I started back in 2015. So it's already been like almost 10 years now since I've been maintaining AdonisJS. And there have been like so many different reasons along this journey, but essentially when I started back then, before using JavaScript or Node, I used to use PHP, and I spent like a couple of years working with Laravel. And when I moved to Node.js, I didn't like really find any framework which was similar to Laravel. And the initial idea was to, okay, let's like put together something which feels like Laravel, which let me like get up and running quickly and build things. That was the initial motivation, which is still true. But of course, like over time, AdonisJS, like changed a lot, and like the internal philosophy and how we approach problems changed a lot. But the initial pain point was to have a toolkit that I can use to build things and get them quickly out in the world versus, like spending weeks just talking about which libraries we want to use, how well do they play together with each other. Essentially get rid of all that decision fatigue and use a framework that helps me ship quickly.
We are releasing this interview with Virk on January 29th of 2026. And if you are watching this in the future, we already have our podcast, The Galaxy Crew, online, and we have an episode where Virk tells more about AdonisJS philosophy, the reason behind why he created this project, and a lot more. It's an in-depth conversation about the origin of the framework. And if you're watching this in the future, again, I'm going to leave the link to this episode here in the description. And Virk, what are the main differences of AdonisJS from other frameworks nowadays? Why should someone choose it?
Yeah, I think the reasons are pretty much the same as they were back in 2015. It's essentially if you have been spending time in the JavaScript ecosystem, I think almost everyone is kind of tired where they have to put together a lot of individual libraries before they start even building their applications. This thing was true back in 2015 when we started, and for some reason it's still true today in 2026, even though there is AI. But I still think even AI does a really good job when you have a more opinionated framework, and we can talk more about that. But essentially, if you're someone who's more focused toward building things, getting those things out in the world, and you're less concerned about picking the hottest library of the year and making everything work together with each other, you still find a lot of value in using an opinionated or a framework like AdonisJS. So that reason is still true when you truly care about building apps and getting them out, and not getting caught with just assembling your own in-house framework with the hottest and the coolest library of the year.
Now let's talk about Adonis 7 and this big version that is coming out soon. And I would like to know, what are the features that are coming with it?
We did a lot of work on V7. We spent a lot of time on our OpenTelemetry integration. We got some code generation around our framework and performance improvements as well. But the real theme around this entire version is end-to-end type safety. So with V7, I could say, in terms of end-to-end type safety, it's the experience that we have actually nailed. So if you're building full stack applications where you're using AdonisJS as your backend, and then you want to pair it with the front-end framework of your choice, it could be React or Vue or Svelte, whatever you like, and you want both of those applications to play really nicely with each other. So maybe I can talk about how we have approached the development so far. So with AdonisJS, our focus has always been on the backend and having a very clear separation between your front end and your backend application. So backend is where you build the API, front end is all the UI that consumes that API. Unlike meta frameworks, we don't bridge the both in a very muddy way where you don't really understand what's the backend code, what's the front end code, where the boundary is. But because of that, what essentially happens is your backend is just concerned with building the API, and your front end is only consuming the API. And if you want to define any types, and if you want to know which endpoints exist, what data they accept, what responses they return, you have to define all of those within your front end application separately. So what we have done is now we have built the tooling which scans your entire backend application, and it creates this entire tree of your entire app where you can get types for what routes are available in your application, what data they accept, what responses they return, and now your front end application can actually rely on that. So when you're building your React app, you can say, okay, these are the endpoints which are available in my API. This is the data they are going to return. So we have spent a lot of time bringing that end-to-end type safety if you're building full stack applications. So that has been the real theme around this release. Of course, there are really small nitty-gritties and the way we do things and the tooling we built, but the idea has been to really nail down that experience of building full stack apps with Adonis.
Do you have something to show us? Is there a demo or something that you can share with us?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure about end-to-end demo, but yeah, maybe I think I can grab some code base that will show you, or maybe give you a bit of idea how this end-to-end type safety thing works. This is a very simple application that I've been building for some use case. Here I have two applications. The backend is Adonis, the front end is TanStack. So this is an AdonisJS controller. What really happens for someone who has never used AdonisJS, you define your routes and you essentially bind your routes with a controller, and controller is something which is responsible for handling the request. And now when we go to the controller, we have these individual methods on a class, and the boundaries of this method is type safe. So in this case, we are showing a list of testimonials, and if you hover over this method called serialize, it tells you that after serializing, the data that you receive is going to be a data object, which is it's basically an object with a data property which is going to be an array of testimonials. So this is what your controller method returns. And now the good part is when you go to your front end application, let's say if we close this. We go to our front-end app and we go to our hooks out here. Where do we go? Okay, so here we have our response. Okay, maybe this is not the one that we should be looking at, is the testimonials controller. Yeah, this one. So if we hover over this one, it returns like, again, a lot of testimonials from this endpoint, but it has like far more properties in it. And if you go to your front-end application, and there is like this type-safe client that we have built as part of the AdonisJS, and this type-safe client essentially let you make like the API request to your backend, and the response that you get back is like fully typed. So you don't have to define like, if I hit this endpoint, this is the data I'm expecting, and if that data has a mismatch, you will only find it out during runtime. That's not the case. It's like a fully typed client, and it will tell you like the way things are happening on the back end. If I change something on the back end, the same types will be reflected here. And just to give you an idea, out here, you can see, like I have access to all the endpoints that are available in my backend. So I can say testimonials.index, which will like give me a list of testimonials. Now, these types are not only available in your front-end app, but they're also available to your tests within the backend. So if I go to some tests out here you can see that when we like make a visit to this particular endpoint, the response we get is like fully typed. In the same way, if I like make a post request where I have to send data to the server, this thing is like fully typed. So if I come here, you can see like I have access to all the properties that I can send to this endpoint, and the response from that endpoint is like fully typed. And you like basically don't have to define any of these types anywhere. You just go to your controller, you say, okay, I want to make a database query. Once I've done that, I will like serialize all the data using this transformer, and now all the layers of your application automatically have access to these types, be it your tests, be it your front-end client. This is how it looks like. It's like really simple once you're using it, but behind the scenes, like we have built a lot of tooling to make this possible.
I feel like sometimes people use these interfaces, these methods, these frameworks we create that are very simple to use, but they have no idea about the work that we have to do behind the scenes to make this work, right? It's like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How long have you been working on this?
So I think we went like full throttle on V7 somewhere around August, or like mid of August. So yeah, it has been like solid 5 months or 6 month work, like time of work, getting everything up and running exactly the way we want. Of course, there were like so many other things, but like a solid time went on getting the end-to-end type safety story exactly the way we want.
So I heard that you guys are doing some sort of AI integration in AdonisJS as well. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Of course, like I've been like using AI a lot lately, and I think it has like a lot of potential. You can build things like really quickly. For example, even when I was working on like Adonis Plus, I got like the entire billing system and on the checkout flow and the fulfillment, everything up and running within like in an evening. That essentially made me reflect. I was able to build things really quickly because AdonisJS like gives you these like guardrails where everything is like very opinionated and done in a very standard way, and AI can very easily understand that and excel at that. But there was still, like things where AI wasn't really exactly the way we wanted it to be. That's where, like we started working on a lot of things. Essentially, what we are working on right now are, like three things. One is the AdonisJS skills, which is essentially, like the AI skills to teach these coding agents how to deal with different areas of the framework. And the other one is like runbooks, which is a more high-level thing built on top of skills. And finally, we want to have sub-agents. And just to tell you a bit about AdonisJS, with Adonis, there are like different kind of applications you can build. You can build hypermedia apps, you can build full stack inertia apps, and then you can build like an API with a separate front end. Exactly the thing I showed you here. All these apps behave a little different in the way they do things. We are, like creating sub-agents that help you build these things. So you can tell the hypermedia agent to build you an app, and it understands that you are in a hypermedia app, and it will like essentially load those specific skills and do things as per a hypermedia app. So yeah, just to sum up everything, it's basically adding everything we could to make sure, like when you're using AdonisJS along with a coding agent, you can have like the best possible experience with it.
Besides Adonis 7, you also have been working on Adonis Plus. Tell us a bit more about that as well. What it is, how does it work, and what have you been doing on it?
Essentially, Adonis Plus is like the first commercial thing we are ever like launching in the last 10 years. It's going to be like a one-time purchase, so you pay for it once and then you have like access to it forever. And within Adonis Plus umbrella, the plan is to have like as many products as we can add. So the very first thing is AdonisJS Kit, which is essentially like a collection of full stack components. So if you have ever used Chatcn, where like you go on their website and then you can like see a collection of components, you can copy paste the things that you need in your app. We are doing something similar, but not the front end components focused on UI, but these are like full stack components more focused on the behavior. For example, if you want to add like 2FA to your application, you go to the 2FA component, you see, okay, like these are the migrations I need. This is how my model should look like. This is how the controller code should look like. You copy paste that, or you apply it using a CLI, and then you essentially have like fully working 2FA done in the best possible way, given like all the security considerations. So that's like the first thing. The other one, as I told you, is like working on these sub agents and the runbooks, which are going to be part of AdonisJS Plus as well. For a very long time, I wanted to write some ebooks that will be like under AdonisJS Plus as well. That's like the high level plan around Plus.
And what is the long-term plan for AdonisJS, for Adonis Plus, and all the other stuff that you're going to cook for us?
Yeah, I think first, like the idea is to like get Adonis Plus out at the same time when we're releasing 7, and let's see like how the adoption is, if people really like it or if they don't like it, how we can improve it based upon the feedback and the adoption of Plus. I think we will be planning further, but for now, like the foreseeable plan is to just like make Plus like a product that's worth paying for, add as many components as possible, add many like runbooks and like AI related things that can improve your experience with the framework. That's the plan for now. And then let's see how it goes after that.
Well, it's not a secret that we are partners for a while now, and we hope to be your partner for a long time here at Galaxy. We want to make Galaxy the best platform to host your AdonisJS apps. And what excites you about this partnership, and how do you see us collaborating together in the long term?
Yeah, I think Galaxy like as a platform is really nice. I've been like using it to deploy and like run a couple of applications. So far, the experience has been pretty smooth, I would say. And also, I think it could fill a gap, like a platform as a service option that people look for, because a lot of people like in the past have asked, hey, are there like any platforms where they can like get up and running with their AdonisJS applications as quickly as possible? So I think Galaxy can fill that gap pretty easily.
Okay, so Virk, to wrap this conversation up, where people can find you online? Where are you? Where they can follow you and see what you have been building?
Yep, I think I'm like pretty active on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Like I keep on posting AdonisJS related work, all the progress we are making. But of course, you can also join our Discord if you want to chat with other community members. You can also subscribe to our newsletter where we share all the things that we are doing within the ecosystem.
And I'd like to invite you from the AdonisJS community to try out Galaxy. If you have subscribed to this event, to Galaxy Expansion, you got $60 in credits. And yeah, you're more than welcome to try it out, see how it works, and of course give us feedback. We want to know what we can improve and how things can work better to, as I said, make Galaxy the best place for you to host your Adonis apps. And thank you very much, Virk, one more time for your time and for your work, of course, and I'll see you soon.